I traveled to every single structure in Minecraft multiple times, and now I have all 16 armor trims. This means that out of the 99 obtainable blocks and items in Minecraft 1.20, I have almost all of them, with one notable exception I'll be trying to get today, although it did break me and my base, but I hope it amuses you and your face. But either way, it's a good day for the Let's Play, because I'm going to be making one of every armor trim all in the same place. Hello, I'm AVX Toycat, and welcome back to my 11-year-old survival world. I am very excited for the curse build of the day today, because I like to try and relate it to the episode's theme, but we will not waste any more of your time. Let's craft ourselves some armor trims. This is what my stash looks like after having raided so many trail ruins and jungle temples and nether fortresses and oh my god, literally everything else. We had to go through so much, and yet still I only have one tied ocean trim, which means if I want to make a full set of armor, I have to take advantage of something fun called duplicating. And this isn't duplicating in the, I just got Minecraft and I'm 11 years old and I feel like this is fine sense. It's actually the much more fun version of duplicating, where you get a ton of diamonds. I'm going to recommend having the toggle craft turned on. We're going to get ourselves a ton of diamonds and then use those diamonds to make tied armor trims. We have to make them individually, it seems. Oh, for every one we make, we can make another one. That's why the number's changing here. But now we have 5 sets of tie trims, and all it cost me was all of those diamonds, a existing tie trim, and also some prismarine, actually. And so we have to do this for every single armor type until we have 5 of each. Because although I only need 4 to make a full set, I'd also like a spare one so I can do future stuff with them without having to go all the way to an end city, all the way to a bastion again, etc, etc. So now we need to duplicate the most valuable of all of them, silence. By the way, we've spent 28 diamonds so far, and I have 3.5 stacks over here. Make note of how many we have by the end, because it might just make you sad. Because yeah, this is a very expensive process. It has to be mentioned, 7 diamonds is not cheap. It's just what we have to be willing to pay. So every single trim type has a different block that it requires. Terracotta for all of these, for example. But in the other case, it's black stone for this, and so on and so forth. But we're going to need deep slate specifically for the ward trim, and we're going to need deep slate specifically for the silence trim too, which means let's go get some. Always just get your hands on some cobbled deep slate instead. I really don't know why it is that like Silk Touch has such a strong nerf in that way. But yeah, we can now make as many silence trims as we like. That's great. But also the ward trim is going to depend on it too. And basically, yeah, I had to go around a lot of my world just picking up some of these weirder blocks. Like, yeah, we need some mossy cobblestone so we can make the jungle trim, for example. Or we need, obviously, to get some cobblestone for some of these. And while I was gathering all of those various blocks, I actually had an opportunity to get the 99th item. So looking at this list, you might not be able to spot which one the hardest is to get. You might assume it's the silence trim, and you'd probably assume just about right. However, getting all of the trims has been a really fun quest I've been up to for the past couple of weeks, and something that I've been basically unable to do is get the piglin head, because it requires a piglin to be killed by a charged creeper, and that is going to require lightning for you to make said charged creeper. However, while I was going and mining all of the blocks, something interesting happened. Wait a minute, I heard thunder. This time it's finally happening. Please, please. Not just one hit again. I've got my trident. I just need some creepers, and I need to pray that it's still thundering, which it is. Heck yeah. Oh, Lord, don't die. Okay, I'm gonna make a lot of these now, because you never know when you're gonna want more. Okay, I don't know if this works for sure, but I'm gonna put the charged creepers in a boat so that they stay there without despawning. Does that work? Let's find out. Wait, what? Charged creepers aren't meant to despawn to begin with, but they despawn even when in boats? No. Okay, we have 2 creepers, and we're gonna name both of them with my lovely name tags, which should prevent them from despawning. Perfect. Now, I need to put the cats somewhere safe. I guess we can leave them just over here. I guess, actually, these cats will keep my base safe from charged creepers. I just have to leave one over here, one over, like, I don't know, here somewhere. Now, I simply grab some piglins from the nether. I definitely don't want the range type. Sorry, friend. Oh, an enchanted crossbow. How nice. And we get the types that are here to follow me, like so. They're doing a very terrible job right now. Follow me. Okay, don't get trapped in the minecart. No! Wrong way, friend. Also, what is happening with his arm? Is this normal? I don't know what he's done, but he's broken the minecart tracks underneath him. I didn't know you could do that. Okay, we give him a real push now. Come on, there he goes. Then we just have to break his minecart. Should be nice and simple, I'm sure. There we go, and then get him to follow me through this portal. Nice and easy. I'm gonna wait for a little bit till I've healed because I imagine I'm gonna get hit some more. Here we go. Quickly, go, run, follow me this way. Can you get to me? Yes, you can. Go down the steps. You've got 30 seconds, dude. This is no laughing matter. Keep following me, please. You can make it. You can do this. I believe in you. Keep it up, buddy. No, wow. It's not 30 seconds. It's 10 seconds, clearly. So I need to get a charge creeper here ready to deal with that. Oh, it's a good thing that they're roaming around the world. That sure is good. That's for sure. Okay, this time round, I know I'm on a 10-second timer, which means I am ready to immediately go. Where are you, charge creeper? Why is this happening to me? Okay, so this is... No, we have to just go right now. Just charge creeper, go. Just come on. Yes. No, it didn't kill him. But I died. I think that's the first time I've died in a very long time in this world. But it is a death. Look what's happened as a result. Have you ever seen this in Minecraft before? You ever seen a pig? Have you ever seen this before? This is beautiful. Anyway, that's the reason I'm at fewer levels than you probably remember from the last Let's Play, which was Saturday actually, but let's go ahead and do the most expensive diamond spend you will ever see, because right now I have, what is that, like about 180 diamonds down from 200 something, and now we have to go through and work out we need 2 snout trims. Oh, it hurts. We need a bunch of rib trims, actually. Oh, what's that? We need a full 4 of them. Oh, that's a lot of them too. Well, we're obviously gonna need some wayfinder trims, up to 5 of those. Then we're gonna need 4 separate shaper trims. Oh, God. And then we obviously need to get some Vex trims, because Woodland Mansions aren't easy to find, really, are they? And now we're down to, oh, man, we're at 82 diamonds, I think that is. And the best bit of all, the best bit that you haven't seen yet, is that actually we still have a few more trims that we haven't fully done yet. So obviously we need to have the Ward template, and we need to have the Dune template, and the Sentry template, and the Spire template. And now I can get this final Ward template. I have 5 copies of all of them, and all it cost me was 180 diamonds, and that's after I did a huge amount of exploration to make sure I would spend as few of them as possible. Wow, that sure is expensive, huh? My diamond stash is reduced to 31 diamonds in this world, which is surprising. You know, again, I feel like most people who are in a world for more than a few months end up with more diamonds than they can ever do anything with, but today we have that kind of locked down. Also, by the way, all of the trims is only one part of getting all the items in this update. So this is the area of my world where I'm going to be placing all of the armor stands. I figured they're kind of like the paintings in that you'd expect them to be the same for most things, but they actually might vary from texture pack to texture pack. And so we're going to place ourselves a... right next to the modern art, I'm going to place myself a chest, because storing all of these smithing templates takes up so much inventory space that I'm going to need to use to make some armor stands. I'm going to need to use to actually get my trims, which, by the way, I'm going to make exclusively out of redstone. I also need to get myself some iron, because I want to make every one of these armor sets exactly the same. They're all going to be iron, because that's a really, easy material to see, with redstone, because that's a very vibrant trim. It's all about focusing on the trim here, which might seem like a waste of silence. Silence can look so good in so many ways, but the point is I want to display these all perfectly, and so if that means using the trims that I've just spent months obtaining and almost 200 diamonds today, then that's worth going through. But first, let's craft ourselves some armor stands. They use the smooth stone slab, which used to be very convenient to craft. Now it's a little less so. And there we go. That's 30 of them right there. Do we need 30? Probably not. Is it good to have them anyway? I guess so. And so yeah, there's 16 different trims. So there's a couple of ways we could go for this. One of those ways... Oh, actually, can we break these easily? I've got a theory that even though you can't break blocks because of the Elder Guardian just next door, big pain by the way, I have a theory you'll be able to break armor stands because they're not a block. Oh, why is it on fire? What? No, that's not... Okay, so yeah, because you kill armor stands, it's easier to break them, so I can show you a few patterns I have in mind. The first one is as simple as, well, there's 16, that makes a nice 4x4 square. You could go something like this, and have them all be a centerpiece of the room, just like so. I don't hate this as an idea, but I do think it could do some work. But I do think we could do something a little bit better, so here's what we'll do instead. Man, this is so weird. I haven't really used armor stands since the Bedrock switch, and apparently I've been missing out. But the other thing we could do is have 6 in the middle here, kind of 2 at the end, just like so, and then we could have 20, you know, our full 16 sets of armor, all standing very close by, or we could deliberately space them out, have every other one of these not exist, and that way there's space to really take in all of the details which an armor stand has. If we were to do it that way, we'd almost certainly need to use more than 2 at the ends right here, but I think the overall benefits are pretty nice ultimately, so this is definitely my leading contender. Why do they slowly die by themselves? And also I think if you don't kill them, if the fire kills them, you don't get it back. I'm so incredibly confused by all of this, but I guess it doesn't matter. Anyway, so yeah, the final design idea that I've been thinking about, I haven't tested any of this, is to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we have like a couple going over here. So 1, and then like, I guess only actually a couple. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How do you feel about this, internet? Wait, it's not a live stream. I can't ask your opinion. I have to just vibe out what I think you'll think, or I have to pretend that I care. But either way, it's hard. So yeah, now we remove the block behind it, and I think we've got a decent enough way to show off all the trims without crowding out the room too much. I think this is a little bit more centered and also gives more space from which to admire the art, which I guess is what the armor stands will be doing all day. Anyway, the next thing I need to do is actually craft some iron armor. The fun thing about trying to use a standardized set is it takes 24 of whatever you want to use to make this, so 24 diamonds for a full set of diamonds, plus 4 netherite if you want it netherite, or 24 leather for a full set of leather, which means I'm going to need 24 iron 16 times, which is... that's a lot. Fortunately, a while ago, I made a poppy farm that just so happens to come with a side helping of iron, which means I should be able to come in here and grab some of that up. Or maybe not, I'm not even sure. Let's see what we've got. That hopefully is enough iron to make it work. Is it or is it not? We'll find out when we go and it works. Also, so many poppies. Seriously, I've got all the red dye a person could ever need here, which is nice. It is annoying that the best way to automatically farm poppies happens to come with iron, but you know, that's just a weird part of this world, I guess. Speaking of weird parts of the world, let's make a couple of smithing templates for the weirdest parts of ours, and then let's make our first full set. This is a full set of iron armor, and wow, there's just so much space taken up by all of this, and also a couple of smithing tables, crucially, so that we actually... I feel like if this exhibit's gonna make sense, you're gonna need to have a smithing table, and we'll try and have them be like somewhat centered, one on this side over there, and then one on this side over here. I do want it to be coming out of the ground a little bit, but, you know, this also works just fine. Boom, 2 smithing tables, from which we can take our first trim, which I guess will go in, like, order of feelings. Because I think the first one you want to show off would be the worst one, right? With silence being somewhere along the back. It's by far the best trim, so we could start all the way back there for that, and instead have the least impressive trim, which is one of these brown ones. Is it Shaper? It might be. Let's give it a shot. And now I have the fun task of trying to bulk make armor, because I need to make so much of this, and I need to do it fairly quickly. So I'm going to need to make sure I have 4 inventory slots free, no channeling trident, no shears, and no food for me, although maybe I should eat one first. Instead, we have to use this slot solely so that we can put armor on, you know, things as quickly as we humanly can. So this is our Shaper guy. As you can see, again, the iron armor is a very neutral. It's as close to white as you can get, and redstone is the strongest color in a lot of cases, which means you can see Shaper is really just there to be like, I have a trim, but I don't really want to have trimmed gear. Look at this chest plate, for example, whereas the second trim, Wayfinder, you know, it's gonna be fun. I feel like everyone experienced these somewhat through some snapshot, something or other, but actually experiencing it in survival is entirely different. Now we need to go grab Wayfinder. Okay, so every time we've used one, we put it in the top here. Do you see how this is already getting slightly confusing, by the way? But now we grab Wayfinder, which is nice and easy. But now we do the same for Wayfinder. We put the same things in there, and we go, that's 1, that's 2, that's 3. Man, this is a lot to do, huh? And that's 4. And these are some of the fun moments in Minecraft. When also look how ridiculously similar it is. I mean the art, like, you know, it's fine. It's the same colors, of course they're gonna be similar, but that's still kind of crazy to me. And then we go for the third one here, which is host. I really think the ones that come from Trail Ruins are kind of just there as fillers. Like, I love a lot of things in Minecraft. I'm a very loving person in lots of ways. You know, actually, that's a lie. I don't love many things in the world, but I do love a lot of things in Minecraft, and this is this is definitely not it. So I think getting these out of the way will at least bring me, at least I'll get rid of all the pain nice and early, because there's some really nice trims in Minecraft, but these just are not it, right? I mean, say what you will, but these are not the ones. Anyway, yeah, we are now going to go enjoy another set of armor. So every time we do this, we need to throw our trim down and get another one, because this is our last set of, I don't want to say default trims, but our last set of, like, very simple ones. Really, I should move one of these crafting tables over into the room, shouldn't I? I think rather than running out into the hallway every time I craft one of these, I should just do it. Wait, I've said this before, but one of my favorite cuts in these Let's Plays, one of my favorite cuts just when I'm watching a video, is the fast, like, placing blocks. And so why don't we try that, but for trimming armor? So here is precisely that. Let's make a lot of armor chink sounds as fast as we can. Okay, this is the last of the ugly ones out of the way. I do have to say that honestly, it's not even that bad. This nice chest plate has some value. The helmet, honestly, you might like by itself. It's simple, but kind of nice in that way. But now we're moving on to the trims that people would actually like, and they're the ones that really people are going to, again, I feel like if you've never seen the trims before, it's important to see the okay ones first and be like, oh, that's kind of cool, before seeing, for example, I really enjoy eye, but also rib is pretty nice in some ways. So let's go get the crazy ones happening now. Okay, so these are the first two ones where things start getting wild. I really love the Dune armor trim. I don't know if I think the wild armor trim is so wild. Look at this. This is no one's definition of wild. But yeah, I had an idea midway through this, and I know it kind of contradicts the idea of going the same color for all. I do want trims to be comparable in texture packs without having to be like, oh, yeah, this is actually just the color that we're seeing be different. But I think having the lesser 8 armor trims, because we're at 8 now, use one color, and then the better 8 use another, might be a really cool part of the museum exhibit. And although, there's a few colors we could go with, as long as it's a nice, bold, vibrant one that matches, I think it'd be pretty nice. And the color that comes to mind is blue. I don't know if I have enough lapis to commit to making, 32 pieces, but hopefully we do, because I think that'd look really great, right? That was not a pointless trip across my world. It is one that's going to be valuable because I will use it to finally... okay, so where did I put my boots? There they are. To finally get myself some slightly nicer looking trims, maybe. So Tide is a great example of one that we really want. Although I do have to admit, the fact that it's called Tide and it's blue is probably not the best example to check my point. But again, it's nice and vibrant. Unlike using diamonds or something, it's not an unfair comparison. I feel like lapis really is the closest thing we have to bluestone, and so the contrast is pretty nice. I do like them side by side. Also, I love this trim. But yeah, we've got a whole 7 more to make, so super fast mode. And now, finally, for genuinely everyone's favorite trim, if you don't care about the idea of trimming and specifically just want cool-looking armor, it is the silence trim. There is no easy way to get armor that looks like this any other way, and so wasting 4 whole silence trims on a museum for it is definitely a bold decision, but it's one I don't regret, because seriously, it really shows you just how good this is compared to... Look at this again. Look at this. And compare it to that. Seeing them side by side really puts it in perspective. I do have to say, rib is one of the really severely disappointing trims. Same with this one here. Look at the helmet. You can't even tell it's trimmed from head on. But yeah, I do have to say that there are a lot of very good trims, and it's cool to now have a big room with all of them sitting side by side. And yeah, the fun thing about this is I now can check different texture packs and see if texture packs change the way that trims look. I actually don't know how you'd approach that as a texture pack maker, so let's find out. Oh, I just got an achievement too. Exciting. Smithing with style. So this is the same world, but in the fantasy texture pack, and this is what I'm talking about with why it's so important to be able to like compare different trims in different colors. Sometimes they have diamonds visible, and sometimes they don't. Isn't that interesting? This is the Fantasy Texture Pack, one of the classic 4J packs. They still do update it for every single texture. I don't think I've ever looked at all the paintings in this one. It's kind of fun to look at, but it's not just this one which might be fun. Whereas this is what it looks like in the cartoon texture pack, and like, oh, it is recognizably, so I think the patterns are staying the same, but they're mixing in weird ways with different textures. And so this is, Silence is actually quite ugly in this case. I like the helmets in all of them. And also, having these paintings in the background is great. I forgot how much fun it is. But yeah, having this stuff all be in the same room is super important. And I like the fact that we've done that, to be totally honest. This is now a cool thing I can do for future texture pack videos, because I love to show off all sorts of things about a texture pack. It's important to see natural builds, it's important to see city builds, but I also think that a really fun thing that is sometimes overlooked is what do things like paintings look like? Did they put the effort into these, or did they forget? It's something that you might... Also, is this two versions of an oven, or is it the same version? It looks slightly different, but I can't be sure. Anyway, so yeah, the fun thing is now we can compare different texture packs. But yeah, that is now my big project from the last few weeks complete. And I also have, as you might notice, here in the chest... Oh, they didn't update the icons for the actual... Oh, yeah, that is odd, to say the least. The Elder Guard and everything else looks different, but they might not have updated to 1.20 yet, which is incredibly intriguing. So yeah, having all of these copies of trims now also contributes towards my getting every 1.20 item quest, which I realize I'm not only missing the Piglin head, I think I might be missing some pottery shards. I'll have to confirm and check that later, but for now, let's do something else that's important. Look at this. The world is so weird in the cartoons. We need to go back a little bit so that we can work on, of course, the cursed build of the week. This is something I do in every Let's Play episode, and is the explanation for why I had to lock off this entire underground area. There is no other explanation for it, except, wait a second, you know what? Just had a realization. You know my base? I still didn't fix it earlier, so I think we're gonna have to do that first. Okay, let's put together the front first, because I feel like it's slightly more important. I'm gonna get some things very slightly wrong, but I think sometimes it's beautiful to have an opportunity to rebuild and do things slightly differently, sometimes for the better, maybe sometimes for the worse. So yeah, I don't think these blocks actually went there. I think we have to... I guess, yeah, we'll have a differently sized ceiling today, which will be kind of fun, actually. And, yeah, there's a few things that I just don't think we can get exactly how they were before, but that's entirely okay. I don't think this was ever here, actually. I think this was all glass. I think the mess up with the Charged Creeper, a lot of people say that was a inevitable, Toy Cat, but ultimately, I think I was okay with the explosion happening if it got me the thing slightly faster. I think a problem... I don't think it's a problem, but I think an attitude that I have is kind of like one of efficiency. You need to get something done. If there's a risk you won't get something done if you don't get it done quickly, you'd better do it quickly so you actually get it finished. And an example of that is getting all of the items in an update. A shame of mine is to admit is that I didn't technically get all of the 1.18 items, 1.19 items I think it was, because I didn't get all the, or 1.17 maybe even, because I didn't get all the different types of copper. I just, aging them was just so dull, and like I never made time for doing it. Even right now I'm missing gunpowder, and I keep telling myself, oh yeah, I'll go and I'll like get some gunpowder sometime, but I'm just not doing it, to be totally frank with you, because it's like a lot of pain and effort for like, do I need that right now? So if you need to get something done, I think sometimes getting it done quickly and then having like cleanup that you have to do and that you need to do might be the better way. Also, I need some glass. I hope I have some lying around here. I definitely do. But yeah, I figured I'd use this house building part of the Let's Play to do what a lot of people are always curious about. What have you been up to in the last week, Toy Cat? Because obviously, I don't have any vlog series on this channel, but a lot of people are curious as to what's been going on in my life. And as well as gardening, which has been going well after last week. I mean, I planted a bunch of seeds and now birds seem to keep eating, like grass seeds or clover seeds. And now birds seem to keep on eating those, which is like a little bit annoying. Like, birds are great and everything, but like, can they not eat the seed? I don't know. I just feel like these seeds are for growing. They're not for birds. But, how do they even know about it? Like, how the seeds are so tiny, I can't see them in the ground, but yet now there are birds in my garden constantly. I guarantee while I've been recording this video, there's a few pigeons having a good munch on my, my hard-earned garden right there. And I just think that's interesting little detail, if nothing else. Also, yeah, there's probably some blocks over here, like some dirt and some stone we should place back. So let's go get some of that in there so we can work on the back as well. But yeah, I've also been thinking a little bit this week about, you know, like I think the reason people like philosophy, the reason people say like, oh, Toy Cat, why do you like this? Is because it allows you to kind of answer these like hypothetical questions about the nature of existence itself, which is very important for a lot of people because working out why we exist is a really important. Oh, so we're missing a door apparently. So much work involved in all of this. So here are those, and now we just need to make a door. We can make a different. You know, let's use this as an opportunity to make a 1.20 themed door temporarily. Look at this. I now have a cherry. Oh. You know, look at this. I now have a cherry door. It looks great, doesn't it? But I think so. One of the fun examples that isn't quite philosophical, but gets me thinking down the same lines, is like the whole Groundhog's Day scenario. What if you could go back in time? I mentioned before how much I love the idea, but a similar equivalent, like something that gets you thinking the exact same thing, is how would you live your life if you had like I think people call it like the Men in Black X-ray. Not X-ray. There's like a mind blanking machine in that. I've never watched a Men in Black, and I don't know if I ever intend to. But like, there's a ray in that can wipe your memories. So it's referenced in pop culture so often. Like, oh yeah, like Zoom, you don't know this, and it's one of those things everyone acts like you're crazy if you don't know about. Like, of course you know about the Men in Black X-ray. It's like Back to the Future. It's a long series of very mediocre movies that like at some point were culturally relevant, and now people insist you have to know them. Like, you're not crazy if you haven't watched Citizen Kane or any of these other ridiculous movies that, you know, Gone with the Wind is the best grossing movie of all time, or maybe the most watched movie of all time, but I guarantee no one knows about it, and that's okay. I think we often pretend that media is this thing we all have to consume the same, but I think the beauty of platforms like YouTube is we do kind of get to decide our own media consumption for better and for worse. And anyway, so and one of the fun things about that is I've got some shows, some pieces of media that are my absolute favorites that exist. The first 6 series of Game of Thrones, if you just pretend the 7th one didn't happen, oh, it's great. There's a lot of shows that I wish I could go back and watch fresh because they were so good the first time round. And so I've heard some people say, like, one of the reasons that I would love one of those mind-wiping devices, that a lot of people are really excited about, is solely so you could watch things again. Or another common example is like, oh yeah, the reason I want it is so that I can, I can wipe some memories of shameful things. Like anytime something terrible happens, I just wipe the memory. But then that gets me thinking, like, if you could remove your own memories and then not feel the shame anymore, I think people would do far more terrible things. After having some weird experiences with some people in my life over the last month, I'll be able to talk about them soon on the third channel, my experiences with people living in my house. But after having some a first-hand experience of it, I've come to realize that the way people's morality and dealing with each other works is so strange, and is kind of shaped by this your shame from past interactions is what guides you in the future. And so if we didn't have shame, a lot more people might be down to steal or murder or anything like that. And I do wonder if having memories of terrible, terrible things is one of those trade-offs for having a world that's slightly better. Oh yeah, remember how bad I cringed when I did this thing? I was, one of my most painful memories that I was I could never tell anyone about this was when I was 7. I said oh yeah, you've been really lazy all day, thinking I was speaking to my cousin, and actually I was speaking to her, a stepdad who's having his one day off this week after. There's some thing about how he works so hard as a bus driver, and he's like, hello, Andrew. And even as a 7-year-old, I was like, oh, this is awkward. This is why I need glasses. I can't just keep not seeing the world, because otherwise more things like this will happen. But, also, look, decorated pot. This room is not sad, not in the slightest. But, everyone has memories like that. But having memories like that means that now, okay, here's one that, physically will hurt a little bit. I'm sorry in advance for that. But, as another example, one time, this is, also, we need to get ourselves some copper and some emerald for what we're going to do with our curse build. So, I keep my emeralds in here, nice and easy, just 4 of those needed. And then I need to go get myself some copper, because I have a fun idea. But yeah, when someone waves at you, you're in a real crowded place, and someone waves or says something, and then you wave back, and then you'd see the person behind them, like, hug them or something. You're like, oh no, why did I wave at someone I don't know? I actually had this recently. I went to a YouTube summit. They said they were giving me free. They said there would be free food, and you know what? Like, there's this problem with like the sorts of people who go to a YouTube event are not the sorts of people who make the most engaging, interesting videos. There's also people who have the most free time to go to an event like that. It's a sad reality. Wish that wasn't true. But yeah. So I was at this event, and I spotted someone that I knew, and I was like, hey, it's this guy. So then later, after a little bit, like I go over to him and he kind of like makes a gesture at me and I wave and then I read his name tag. I thought his name was, I actually don't know what I thought his name was, like Sam or something. But I knew his YouTube name. It was something very different. It was very distinctive. And then I looked at his name tag and it was like a big jumbled mess and it said something else. And I was like Scott, or it wasn't Scott. It was something really weird. It was, and as a result, I was like, oh no, I just waved at the wrong person, played it off. And then even worse is later, he comes up to me and says, yeah, you waved at me earlier, then stop looking. Because actually it was the right guy. He was just wearing his friend's name tag. And anyway, long story short, is, forgetting that would be great. There's no downside to the world, except now I spend, every time someone waves at me, my fight and flight activates to be like, real quick, we need to decide in the next few seconds, what are we going to do about this? And is that worthwhile? I don't actually know, honestly. I sure hope not. Anyway, my cursed build of the week is going to involve 2 sets of leather armor. You can probably guess where this is going just from that alone, but if you can't, then boy are you in for a treat. And I'm gonna dye one of those sets green, hopefully get the full thing done, in fact I do, and I'm gonna dye one of those sets orange. If you've never dyed stuff on Bedrock before, you have to dye the water, and then you dye your armor from that. It doesn't really make too much sense, but we all agree not to question it and everything goes great. And so here we go, full orange set of armor now, which is convenient, because of these ingots I have with it. I am going to make something absolutely beautiful involving some redstone. This is something you might remember if you've been on the channel a few years, but it was the most cursed thing I saw when I found it, and now I have an armor stand reason, which is to show off some very beautiful armor. By the way, do you like my end portal? It looks convincing, doesn't it? Oh, wow! Same video, second opportunity to do this. I have no idea how it is that I go genuinely, you can look at the streams. It's something like 20 or 30 hours with no lightning storms. And then just today, in the couple of hours from this Let's Play, I have 2. Okay, we need a creeper right now, but there's no creepers around here. Oh, no. Okay, I'm making a couple of name tags just to be kind of silly here, and then we're gonna race off. Come on. Ooh, okay, it's gotta last to somewhere near a nether portal that isn't by my base. I'm gonna do this correctly this time, and, if it does explode, it won't be in my face. Okay, perfect. We have a beach right here. It's near my crafting table and fletching table biome, and that is a creeper, which I'm gonna hit right now. No! How does it go away so quickly? Why? Why are you cursing me like this, Minecraft? Anyway, as I was saying, before I was so rudely interrupted, I don't know how it's so hard to have lightning that lasts more than 25 seconds in this world. Why am I cursed, Minecraft? Anyway, speaking of cursed, I need to go grab my silence trim. And if I forgot that, that would be a lot of pain. We need to go to a crafting table, and I need to make a lot more copies. In fact, a solid 8 of them. And so look at my diamonds just dwindle all the way down. I'll keep a spare copy of it. I spent another, 56 diamonds just there? What is my grand total now? I don't know if I want to know, but you can see right now on screen. But yeah, now we've got 8 silence trims. I can do something real fun, right? And I can take each of these and trim them using emeralds to make the greenest armor imaginable. Actually, should we go for the opposite way around? Should we have copper on the green and emerald on the... Maybe we should, actually. Actually, no, when you look at the chest plates, and then we'll do the same with the green, I think it actually looks really cool to have the emerald on there. It makes it look way more like emerald armor, which is something people have been asking for forever, and now they can finally have. And honestly, now that I've committed and spent 28 diamonds, there's no way I can go back. So now we do 4 pieces of copper. 1, 2, 3, and a 4. That is the fastest way to spend 56 diamonds on a meme. Jokes aside, though, I really do like having this kind of like weekly build-up part of my world. I think the same reason that I enjoyed getting all of the armor trims and making this big challenge today is kind of that progression you get, and I think everyone enjoys this. Seeing ways in which past them is behind current them, or more accurately, that current you is ahead of past you, is something that's really important for a lot of people. So now, all we have to do is, I don't know how we alter there we go. Now we start altering the poses, and we wait until some stuff happens. We maybe set up one of these real quick. Maybe it goes there. I'm not even sure, honestly. It's been too long. And now, here we go. People have been asking for copper and emerald armor for as long as time has existed. And so now, we can finally give those people their wishes, but in the most cursed, horrifying way possible. They are armor stands that dance perfectly in sync and dab and do everything in between. Is this what you wanted? Does this make you happy? Do you feel like you got your copper armor? Because it would be less useful than what I've achieved here. Anyway, this is very much a cursed build. And oh, actually, this is my torch box. I've been missing this. How did I place it down in here and forget about it? So today has been a very successful day. I officially have all of the trims in Minecraft and a couple that you probably wish you didn't have. And also, more importantly, I've had a good time and I've achieved a big goal that makes me really happy. This is a big world, and so some of the achievements in here do feel like they're, kind of like, just self-imposed, but this is one that I really did enjoy, because it feels like now I can do a lot of really cool stuff, which I enjoy for the various videos I do on this channel. Anyway, if you want to see more of those, please do subscribe. You probably are already, but just in case you're not. Also, make sure to check out the Let's Play series. I only learned that we're approaching 600 episodes recently, so just pretend that's not true. Start somewhere in like the 300s, 400s, and just pretend that's episode 1. You have a really good time, because, 11-year-olds, the 11-year-ago Toy Cat has some weird things to say. I don't know how he was allowed to say those things, but yeah, we just pretend you didn't hear any of that, and say thank you for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. I've been IBX Toy Cat, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.